Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
We now live in a world that revolves around modern technology. With the help of every social media platforms, fake news is quickly disseminated. We're here to share some information about fake news in order to broaden our understanding and raise awareness about it. Later on, you'll get to know the consequences of fake news and ways to stop the spread of it.
We all know that fake news has been spreading nationwide and that we must have an awareness. Be observant in every statement and details whether it's fake or not. We should also check the source if it is accurate and reliable so that we can make any trouble in our society, especially that there are people who are sensitive and fragile. To help each other, we need to raise an awareness to each of us, especially to those people who's into social media platforms, because I know that awareness is such a powerful one. It educates people and it gives us knowledge on how to evaluate a certain topic, issues, and fake news. And with that, reading comprehension and double-check the sources is a must.
Why should we care about the proliferation of fake news? Who does it harm and how? The spread of fake news can have both personal and academic consequences. In a perfect world, everything reported would be based only on facts and you would be able to trust that the media you consume is reliable. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You should learn to spot false information because fake news can. First, call into question the credibility of your sources. As a student, you're expected to find, evaluate, and reference trustworthy information sources in a variety of formats. If you include fake news as evidence for your arguments or as part of your research, it may raise doubts about the integrity of the sources you use as a whole and your ability to identify quality information. Second, provide you with false, misleading, or deceptive information used to make a decision or take action. It can be dangerous to do something without having all the facts, but it can just as detrimental to do so based on inaccurate information, whether it's political, medical, academic, or personal. You need to be able to recognize when the information you're taking it can be trusted to help you make an intelligent, fact-based choice.
Third, confirm your biases. It's even more difficult to question information that affirms what you believe or lends itself as a proof of the arguments you're making. But just an article citing something that you don't agree with isn't always a fake news. Information that you do agree with isn't always real. Keep an open mind and leave your beliefs and opinions out of it when evaluating news. Lastly, lead to lack of belief or trusting in scientific findings. As more and more individuals fall for information online that directly opposes scientific research, researchers are increasingly put in the position of having to defend the validity of their feelings. Information dissemination was limited to print, television, and radio. There was less opportunity for individuals to publicly comment on, criticize, or refute knowledge presented by experts. Social media and the internet more broadly, it is now possible for groups to push misinformation that aligns with their beliefs and discourage that which does not. This is Gian Bracoso leaving you the sayings, we are free to make our own decisions, but we are not free to control the consequences of those decisions. Be guided by wisdom for everything significant decisions you must make in your life. Thank you.
Here are some steps on how to stop the fake news. The most important step to take is to interrupt your own reflex of sharing posts that outrage you or resonate with your beliefs. Scammers capitalize on that instinct by tailoring the stories to fit the beliefs of their targets so they will slip under their defenses. Okay, the first step is never to share a post on social media without fact-checking. This is especially true if it comes from a source you trust. If you want to spread truth, you need to assume that the other people aren't perfect and may make mistakes. Second, look for the sources. Mainstream news is only as good as the sources they rely on. Anonymous sources, or stories coming from only a single source, are more suspect than stories with multiple sources of confirmation. This doesn't mean that they are false. Many important links and stories have come from single anonymous sources. But don't assume they are true, especially if they are sensational until there is confirmation. Third, consider the story's agenda. Stories are colored by the agendas of the writers. New organizations typically operate for money, and part of their brand lies in their accuracy. However, many groups tailor then content to particular segments of customers, and thus are more likely to cover stories with a particular perspective. This can skew their currency, turning it into affinity with the preconceptions of their target audience. Political organizations exist to get their candidates elected and agenda passed, and thus any stories from a campaign or candidate are more suspect because they will always be intended to persuade. This does not make them automatically false, but watch for emotional appeals, arguments that disaster is just around the corner unless you act, or other measures designed to make you fearful or anxious. Lastly, don't discount stories that play to emotions, but view them with caution. Injustices and corruption are things that make any ethical person upset or angry. A story that promotes emotion is not automatically false just because it provokes strong feelings. Unfortunately, scammers and propagandists know the power of emotion and use that tool in their work. Therefore, fact check before you share.
You've just heard what fake news is about and what are the consequences of it. We are the Group 7B as in English 1, leaving you a quote: don't believe in everything you read on the internet just because there is a picture with a quote next to it.